What's up everyone, in this video I want to showcase updates that I have made for digital assets for my procedural building tutorial. So I'm going to basically link this video in the pinned comment of the procedural building tutorial so that you see that if you are getting the work files and the digital asset looks a little bit differently, so you can look at that video and see what has been updated and changed. So the updates are pretty minor, but it actually improves the workflow quite a bit. So first of all, the first update is saving of the Unreal geometry. So what I have here, I have just some template, some geometry from some asset pack. So let me go ahead and send geometry that I want to save from Unreal on my disk. So let me go ahead. So in this video, I'm just going to showcase the improved workflow for something like filling out the bookshelf. So let me go ahead and take something like all of these books, maybe these bottles also. So then I want to maybe, what else? These paper trays, maybe these pencils, and all these shelves. Also these, and then just go ahead and I already opened up my Houdini session sync. I'm going to send it to the Houdini. Let's take a look at the new updated Save Unreal Geometry node. So this node is going to look very similar to the old one, and also the old one is also going to be available as a version 0.1.0. And if you have basically installed both of these versions, you can actually switch between them, but there's really no reason to go back to 1.0, but it's going to still be available for anyone who has a work file. So if you go ahead and compare these two versions, so you can see that actually uh, very similar. The only difference is that we're using the piece attribute value for the Unreal content geometry. Let's take a look at the new Save Unreal Geometry node. So this is going to be labeled as version 1.1. If you have installed both of these versions, you can actually go ahead and switch between them, between 1.1 and 1.0. And the only main difference, there's basically two main differences. First of all, how we are getting the name of each geometry that we have sent from Unreal Engine is actually from the name of the nodes that are inside Unreal content geometry container. So if you go ahead and open up your Unreal content subnetwork, you will notice that every name of these geometry is actually the same as its name inside the content browser inside Unreal Engine. So what they can do is they basically bypass the old implementation where we actually went ahead and used the Unreal input mesh name attribute value. We can bypass fetching this attribute and we can use the name of these geometries, geometry container names. So this is how we're actually fetching the unique names from it. And now the file name is using the PDG attribute piece value because that's the default attribute name that is used to separate each work items that are internally used. So you can go ahead and inside it and take a look at this version, compare both of these, since you have basically both of these implementations. But by default, we basically have the same thing is going to be available for us. And now let's go ahead and set up our subdirectories. And also the extract data basically work the same. And I'm going to use the second extract suffix and prefix. And then go ahead and we can use directory as a common name, just like I showcased in the tutorial. And let's go ahead, piece attribute also going to be common name. So let's go ahead and generate. Now we have our 11 directories. So what so we have taken care of getting the information. So now we have also the cook type. So now by default, I think in my previous HDA, the default was auto process, and I talked about how sometimes it didn't like to cook the in process. Basically, it wouldn't cook correctly. But right now, it's actually seemed to be fixed, and I have basically left by default is going to be in process and going to save geometry super fast. So let me go ahead and put to the my temporal geometry geo directory, subdirectory. Make sure that these values are actually fetched. Take a look at these output names. So that looks good. And one last thing that I want to make sure that actually fixes these colors. So right now, if I save the geometry, it's actually going to also export the alpha and color data. That means that I would have to basically edit the geometry again to get rid of the coloring inside that is stored in this geometry. So, but what's cool about now is that there's actually a dive target for this HDA. And if you go ahead and double click on this node, you can see that you have actually gone to the dive target of this node. It's way inside the node, and we can basically do some custom edits. And to make sure that you get one single work item to see what kind of edits you're actually doing, what you can do is go ahead and go to the topnet part of this geometry and select on this raw geometry node any of these work items to see uh, what kind of data what kind of attributes you get. And then you can go ahead and go back to the object level and go inside the type target again. So it's little annoying, but I haven't really found the better version to get the active work item that's actually being saved inside this dive target. So let's take a look at this, and basically custom edits. I'm going to go ahead and attribute delete. One thing that I want to do is apply my alpha and color deletion attributes so that I do not export it and I see it in the viewport. And that's basically it for the custom edit. And I'm going to go ahead, dirty all, and I'm going to cook the output node. Let's save the geometry. So these are going to be all the updates for the save Unreal Geometry HDA node. And the other update is for the Geometry Compositor node. So I'm just going to do it in the same instance of Houdini. So Geometry Compositor node. And in this case, as for update, it's all about the interactive viewer state. It has basically more options for you to interactively go between a bunch of geometry. So let's start by going to the my temporary where I saved this geometry at inside here, and let's go ahead and select our shelves. So first, interactive view state hotkey that I have implemented is actually A and Control A. So you can see we can flip between all the items inside this subdirectory. Basically, just go ahead and flip between them. And what's cool about this is that all the hotkeys are actually showcased underneath in this helpful string. So you can see A and Control A to change the item. So this is going to change only items in this subdirectory between basically here. So let's say I like this shelf. Let's go ahead and fill this shelf with stuff. So now that we also have a ability to duplicate the item and also the remove item. So let's say I want to duplicate, let's say I want to make a composition of 2 shelves. I'm going to press Ctrl D. And now it has duplicated the same settings for the another multi-parameter. If you go ahead and change its location, you can see I have now this shelf and I can go ahead and flip between them. But if let's say, I want to only use one shelf, I can go ahead and say press Ctrl Shift D. It's going to remove the currently selected one here. So these two changes has made it a little bit more interactive. So another important thing is that there's an option now to see the index that is for the item that is now selected. So this is good because we can actually go ahead and take a look at, let's say I'm going to duplicate this many times. I can actually now visually see which item, let's say I want to manually change like a subdirectory for this item and change the directory where I actually where I store the geometry from. Actually now I can interactively see which index I have to press on this multi-parameter folder. Let's say I want to change let's go ahead and delete these 3. Let's duplicate it. And let's say I want to get some books. I know that I have to go to the index 3, index 1 to change its subdirectory to change geometry source from. So let's go ahead and go to the books tags. Now it's automatically going to take these books tags. And let's go ahead and fill the bottom shelf with these books. Like that. Let's go ahead and duplicate them. And then I can go ahead and switch between many of these different. So there's the medium one, so that's good. So let's go back to this one. Let's duplicate it again. And let's go to the next one, like this one. Maybe also some randomization in the depth is also probably good. So the first shelf is good. Now let's go ahead and take something like this one. Let's duplicate it. Let's go on top of it. And let's switch between other geometry. So this one is going to be very easy. It's basically the complete line. Let's duplicate it again. Let's go up. And let's take a look at the different one. So now I know that this current multi-parameter for the geometry is actually index 5. So go to the 5 and let's go ahead, go to the maybe like a paper trace. So paper trace, let's go ahead, duplicate it, and maybe let's flip them around. Why not? It would make it pretty hard to get these documents, but for visuals different, why not? Let's go ahead and duplicate this one again. Let's take a look at something else. So I have also these. Oh, I almost forgot. I have to make sure that I actually select the correct multi-parameter. So you can see in this case it's index 7. So go to the index 7. Let's go take a look at maybe like these empty ones. And let's just go ahead and duplicate a couple of these. Let's duplicate it again. And now let's number 10. And let's go ahead and maybe go to the single ones. So there's a bunch of single ones, so that's good. Let's duplicate it. Let's duplicate it again. And then like that. So that's good. So let's go ahead and duplicate it again. For the next shelf, let's take a look what we have saved more. There's pencils, book stacks. Again, I forgot I have to actually go ahead and select the correct index. So that's index 13. So there's like a bottles, so that's not really useful. Pencils, book sponge, so there's like a stacks. So that actually would not be a great position for these to be because it's pretty hard to see, hard to take them, but for demonstration, let's go ahead and duplicate them. Basically like a stack of books. Let's duplicate it again, maybe like inside here, like that. Let's go ahead and duplicate it. Let's go ahead and rotate it, like that. Let's go to the next one. Let's go ahead and go get these paper, maybe like a, my bad. Let's go to the maybe like again, back to these stacks. Because they are very basically at the very top. And there's probably would be the least amount of disturbance for these. Like that. Okay, again. So let's go to, that's basically it for the quick demonstration for the compositing. And to showcase how and what's cool about this is that you can basically go ahead and duplicate this variation and go ahead and change any of these instances and add anything else and save this geometry as its own variation for this bookshelf. And just to demonstrate how we can save this from my tutorial, if you remember that I have so I actually have a quick tool setup, which is basically just to get the instance attribute. If you have seen the tutorial, you know that we basically just went ahead and extracted the points and got our Unreal input mesh name attribute and set it as Unreal instance. And then just go ahead and save it. Let's go to the my temp geo. Let's call this composition shelf 01.bgo.sc. You want to go ahead and write the file inside Unreal Engine. All we have to do is go ahead and import the geometry. So in this tutorial, I showed that there's actually a Houdini asset by default, which is called the import BGO import. So this is not the best asset because it's very simple. So if you get my work file, I have more advanced version of it, but for demonstration, with the tool with the HDA that comes with the Houdini engine, that's going to work just fine. Now I just go ahead and point to the files to geometry that I just saved, composition bookshelf. Like see, uh, we have our bookshelf, which is imported with all of these, and I can basically just bake the geometry and save it as its own, like a blueprint, or just group this geometry together if you don't want the blueprints. So that's basically it for the update for the geometry compositor. So it's going to be a little bit more interactive now. And there, I think in the previous version there wasn't the ability to reload geometry. So reload geometry, just like with the file node, it's basically the same button when you have when the geometry on disk has been changed, but the cached version inside Houdini has not been has been updated with the new geometry. You can just basically press this reload geometry. It's going to refresh geometry that is on disk with the newer version. If you have, let's say, if you have saved your geometry multiple times from this save Unreal geometry, and you have maybe removed a couple of attributes like I did, like an alpha channel, you can just press on reload geometry. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you learned something about these updated tools, and I hope you use them, and see you next time.